I'm not sure whether you want to use the toys to build anticipation for the movie,
right?
Or you want to use the movie to build anticipation for the toys,
right?
Like, is it good to have the kids see the toy and be like, "Oh, what's that about?" Or is it good to have the kids see the movie and then be like, "Oh, we got to go to the store and buy those toys"?
You know what? You go back to the old standby, the original one that kind of did this with no street date whatsoever, Star Wars. You had the movie come out prior to the toys even being made.
But I don't think that was the plan.
No, it wasn't
Lucas
the plan.
wanted toys,
right?
And everyone was like, "This Star Wars thing is not going to do anything,"
right?
And then it came out, and it was like, "Oh, we're behind the 8 ball on this."
Pegwarmers is the code name for toys and collectibles with high supply and low demand. Join Kevin and his team of collector commandos as they discuss popular and not so popular retro and current toy brands.
Welcome to Pegwarmers. I'm Kevin.
I'm Mike, the Bro Show Bro.
And we're here to talk about toys.
Toys? What is that? Are those plastic things that we played with as kids?
They are.
Oh, okay.
So today for our news segment, we're looking ahead to some movie releases that are Marvel properties, we'll say.
Yep.
And we want to talk about which one is more toyetic. So we've got Venom coming out from Sony.
Yep.
And we've got Shang-Chi coming out from Marvel.
Directly, yeah.
Directly.
And I don't know. I like the fact that we have two properties that we may not know a lot about. Venom we might know more about, a little bit more.
Venom's far more mainstream.
Right. But Shang-Chi, I really like the fact that it's something that I don't know anything about. I'm going into it fresh without knowing the story. Not to say that it's not a great story and it's not well known. It's just for myself, I don't know it that well. Does that mean the toys translate into something that's going to sell? We're kind of seeing that maybe not so much at the moment. The movie's not out yet, though.
Right. The toys are out.
Right.
I don't even know what they're releasing from Venom. Like, I haven't seen any toys. Maybe there won't be toys. But Shang-Chi, there's definitely toys because Marvel and Hasbro work together and they crank out Marvel Legends for everything.
Right. And they came out with a great Marvel Legends line of figures for this particular movie, but the Build-A-Figure is a character that's not even in the film, I don't think.
Okay.
It doesn't seem like he's in the film. It's called Marvel's Mr. Hyde, which is a comic book
A lot of times they do that with the movie lines. If there isn't a oversized character in that movie, then the Build-A-Figure is something.
Exactly. However, we've seen in the trailer they've got Abomination is going to be in there. Even if he's just in a one fight scene, why wasn't he the Build-A-Figure per se?
And they made him look like the comic book one.
With the fins. Yeah, exactly. So why couldn't he have been the actual, unless it's tied to a Sony license that they can't make that character as a toy yet. That's a possibility, maybe.
Or they've already done an Abomination for Marvel Legends and they're trying to get characters they haven't done yet.
They haven't done a Build-A-Figure one of him. They did do one for the Hulk movie line, you know, 2012 or whatever, but it's not as good as what it could be now.
So when I look at these two properties, I see crazy, weird, monstrous guys that like a kid wants to play with.
Right.
And then I see a bunch of humans in slightly interesting outfits.
Right, doing martial arts, which is very cool, but with a figure, the figure's not going to jump around on the table or anything, unfortunately. You can put it in the very cool poses, give it all the different hand gestures and everything too, separate hands and whatnot, but it's not going to do much for you unless you actually do the posing for you, you know, or you put it into a high flying kick and try, go after your kids or after your toys or anything like that, the other characters. And unfortunately, you have to buy all 6-7 figures to do the Build-A-Figure. There's still a couple of figures that are just sitting there on the pegs. And there's this apparently a Target exclusive of a character named Katie. Again, I don't know anything about the movie or the character. Unfortunately, I wish I knew. She's just sitting on the pegs, unfortunately.
Yeah.
And there's like 10 of her to every like 3 or 4 of the other Marvel Legends figures. Now, they also have some action feature figures as well that are in scale with the Marvel Legends figures. And they even have the dragon. They even have some playware where they have the 10 rings that fit on a forearm.
Yeah, there's some role play stuff. Like they're definitely marketing it to kids.
Right.
And I think kids will enjoy it because Marvel just knows how to make enjoyable movies. And they definitely seem to be taking an Avatar: The Last Airbender type vibe to it, because of all the Shang-Chi stuff I've ever read, he's just a martial artist.
Right.
I've never seen him have, like, quote-unquote superpowers.
Right.
But the 10 rings, the way they've taken these weapons and given them to Shang-Chi's dad.
Right. Somehow or whatever.
Somehow it looks like there's some airbending, waterbending going on, which probably makes the character more interesting.
Right.
And they've done this in the past. Like the Guardians of the Galaxy, you know, they took the most interesting versions and made them even more interesting.
Right.
And I think they're kind of doing that here with Shang-Chi. We're going to make him more interesting than he is already.
And again, like Guardians of the Galaxy was a movie we went into, and not mainstream media or mainstream audiences knew who that was.
Right.
But not same thing with Shang-Chi. I trust Marvel to give us a great film and a great story. I almost think that maybe even the toys came out a hair too early. And this might be a syndrome of what happened with Black Widow, unfortunately, where the toys all hit right when the movie was supposed to hit last year, and then we had COVID hit, and unfortunately...
The scheduling for everything is a mess.
Right.
I think toys are hitting warehouses before, you know, on the deadline they were supposed to,
right.
And the movies aren't hitting the theaters on those deadlines.
Exactly.
And the shift has just screwed things up.
Well, think about if you had Star Wars toys show up in toy stores 6 months before the actual movie hit out instead of, you know, a year later like they did. But if they hit 6 months, nobody would have known anything, and it could have been a flop toy line.
Yeah, they might have been clearance before the movie came out. Like, what's this?
Can you? Yeah. Oh, can I get a Millennium Falcon for $4 in the 70s? That would be great. You know, $10 was big bucks, but $4, heck yeah.
And then we're seeing lots of Lego sets, which is typical.
Yep.
It'll be interesting to see how those do, because again, the minifigures are less exciting. Like,
right.
When a set has a Hulk minifigure or has a Spider-Man minifigure, that's like the thing that a kid begs for.
Right.
And here you have like these karate guys. There is a Lego set with the dragon in it.
Yep.
So that may be like a point where kids are like, "Oh, this looks really cool. There's a dragon in it," you know.
But I got to build the dragon first, and then,
right.
Yeah, that's the thing. Now, granted, again, there's a whole market out there for Lego sets and everything. Whole market out there for not only kids who want to play Marvel Legends, but also like toy photographers and such too that do a lot of great work. But
right.
There's only a finite number of those, so you're going to have things sitting on the pegs, and it's not what you say toyetic. It's not something that's dynamic to play with, short of the role play stuff, unfortunately. That said, you go into something like Venom versus Carnage, you know, that just looks like it's going to be crazy fun, amazing, but we might get just 2 figures from that.
Yeah, I don't remember there being toys for the first Venom movie.
There was one.
There was one.
They came out with one Venom figure as its kind of own standalone figure itself, part of another line. No Build-A-Figure attached to it or anything like that. And it was a great Marvel Legends figure. Very big, very hulking, black with gray veins painted on it, and one head closed mouth, one head open. Like, it was a great figure. I love it. Will they do something like that again? That would be great. I would love to see them do like a 2-pack of Eddie Brock and Venom together, and somehow even have like a back peg on Eddie Brock that has like a symbiote tendril coming out, and you can put the Venom head on that or something that you've seen in the trailers already. I'd love to see something like that. But what I'm really looking forward to is a Marvel Legends figure of Cletus Cassidy, of Carnage himself, all the snap-on accessories and everything. Give us something that's really bloodthirsty, very scary looking. And I think that would sell really well, not only to collectors like myself, but to kids too, because kids love scary things.
Yeah.
The same thing that they about Shang-Chi is they're not very scarier looking, or they don't have a lot of dynamics to the look of the figure. That's all. Not saying anything about the movie or the characters themselves, just not to the figure itself. Whereas you had like a Captain America, he had the shield or he had the hammer or whatnot. You had Thor, his hair is flowing or whatnot. He's big and hulking. He's Chris Hemsworth. Come on.
Yeah, a lot of the other Marvel movies, you have more name recognition to the main character.
Exactly.
You have interesting colors that pop on shelf, or weird looking aliens or whatever.
Right.
That a kid will want even if they don't know who they are. But I think Shang-Chi, it's really going to take kids seeing the movie to get really into it.
They're going to need butts in the seats of the theaters to be able to sell the toys. Yeah. And the toys are just kind of sitting there collecting a little bit of dust right now.
And it's early.
Right. Now with Venom, because it's more of a darker film and whatnot, they may not make as many toys, so they're not going to sit on the shelf as long, I think. And parents aren't going to buy scary toys necessarily for the kids. As someone who's worked in toys before, it was always a hard sell. Like McFarlane toys were a hard sell to parents, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But the kids who do see it, like, I've got my own money, I'm going to spend it and buy it to buy these toys. And that's what's going to happen. I think that's what's going to sell those toys. And they're going to be the kids that actually go see this movie in the theater, especially if it's PG-13, like the first one was.
Our next segment is new to the collection.
Yep.
And I have something to add to Mike's collection.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
My mom actually picked this up at a thrift store a while back and gave it to my niece to play with.
Oh, cool.
And then I said, you know, when she outgrows this, I know somebody that will enjoy having it. So I have for you a 100-piece Alf puzzle.
Woo! Hey, Willie. Hey, Kevin. Thank you. Thank you so much. What do you think of this, Alf? Hey, look, it's me. I'm cleaning. I'm doing... No, I don't do that. Oh, my gosh.
I believe it's all there.
That is awesome.
So
I love... Thank you. So this is new to my collection right here on the show.
Good old
That's
Bradley.
Awesome. So a lot of people may not know this, and I think I may have mentioned it before, is the fact that I'm a huge Alf collector. I happen to do, another show from time to time, and I do a voice impression. Hey there, Willie. I really need some ketchup for my cats, And people started giving me things for Alf, and I have this collection that just started to grow. I'm like, good Lord, I love this. This is awesome. So I watch the show at least 3 times a week now, just because. And yeah, this is great. Yeah, me and my Alfs are going to be trying to put this together this weekend, I think.
It's an odd, hold that up to the camera real quick, the box.
Yeah.
It's like an odd shot from the show.
Yeah. Why is he ironing?
Alf had trading cards, and there were lots of those that were like...
What was he doing?
You would look at it and go, I want to see that episode, because
it
looked exciting. That one, Alf doing housework, really, that's the one that's going on the...
Yeah,
that's going on the puzzle.
That's definitely
the most exciting Alf scene I've ever seen. We got to put it on the puzzle.
No, you know what this is? This is Alf getting paid for a staged photo. That's what this is, right, Alf? Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and iron something. You know what? Hey, bring me Lucky the cat. I'm gonna iron his tail. I need to make a flat cheese bread sandwich. Seriously, that's great though. Alf with. He's wearing coveralls too. Okay, one of my favorite little things about Alf, for whatever reason, is whenever he wears clothes on the show or like this. Anytime he has a suit or he's trying to wear a dress, it's a popular gift that's out there, or he's just wearing anything that's human-like a Hawaiian shirt or whatever. I just love it. I don't know why. Why does he need clothes? He has fur. I just love it.
In the cartoon show, right? When he lived in he always wore a Hawaiian shirt, though.
But only a Hawaiian shirt, never pants.
Right.
Why is that?
Well, that's just the cartoon.
Yeah. He was trying to be Daffy Duck.
Yeah.
So, dude, thank you so much. So,
you're welcome.
That's awesome. Thank you.
Yep.
100 puzzle pieces? That'll take me about 3 weeks. and not because I'm slow. I just take my time. No.
All right, our next segment is Low Budget Bonanza.
Oh, boy.
Toys that cost less than $5. There is a new line of G.I. Joe brick toys out.
Wow.
And I have found 2 of the sets so far. They make them in a variety of different sizes.
Right.
At first, they were showing up at 99-cent stores, the smallest sets. Tuesday Mornings has been another store that we've been hearing a lot of them are at.
Right.
And I've heard a couple reports that they're at $5 Belows, despite not finding any. Myself or our friend Tony went looking for them.
Right.
Couldn't find them either. But these sets, some of them are based on G.I. Joe vehicles and things from the past.
Right.
Some of them are a little bit different. They all feature some retro
art on them, yep.
And they pretty much all come with a minifigure. So the back of this one shows a Snowcat, a Surveillance Patrol, which is not like an official G.I. Joe vehicle, the Ninja Commando 4x4, which was a Retaliation toy, a repaint of the All-Striker.
That one always worried me, because why would a ninja need 4x4 driving?
Did you see Retaliation? Jinx and Snake Eyes rode in a 4x4.
I know, but I don't know.
It's a long walk.
But they're ninja. They can do anything.
And the Sky Striker. So this set is called the Ninja Speed Cycle. I don't think it's based on any existing toy.
It looks like it could have been the Ram Cycle. Could have been.
But it's not.
With a paint job and completely different look.
So I've had this for like a week, and I've been dying to see what the minifigure's like.
Oh, we got to break it open.
I mean, I'm just going to rip this box open. Sorry, anybody that's like a Mitten Box collector.
Oh, God, no. Don't open it. You've ruined it.
Everybody I know that's found any of these has said the box was already like completely crushed.
Oh, my gosh.
And I checked their website. They have like, pictures of all the sets. There's going to be a Tomahawk one later. That's
cool.
I want the Tomahawk so bad. It's my favorite G.I. Joe vehicle.
Yeah. That's actually really cool. I wonder how many figures it'll hold and everything.
So we got parts in a bag.
Let's see.
Here's the Snake Eyes. Oh, he comes disassembled, completely disassembled, like his legs aren't attached.
You got to assemble them.
And then there's an instruction book.
You know what? While we're doing the show, I'm going to try and put together a cycle.
You're going to build the cycle?
Is that okay with you?
Yeah.
Oh, good. Okay. You do the figure. I'm going to do this, and we'll continue talking while we're doing this.
So this is a Snake Eyes based on Snake Eyes version 2 from 1985. He's got the visor.
Okay.
Right?
Oh, man. What did I get myself into? Here, let me push this back. I'll build, we'll talk. So you've got Snake Eyes there.
I got Snake Eyes, and you've got a little motorcycle. So I'm trying to think of like G.I. Joe motorcycles, because there were... Do you remember like the Venom vs. Valor era? Like
yes.
There were Snake Eyes
Yep.
Snake Eyes and Storm Shadow and maybe even Kamakura had bikes during that.
There was a white, a black, and a green one that
Yeah.
they all had. They all fired a missile right out of the front of the head.
And this
windshield.
does have little, like...
Yeah, guns on the
guns
side.
or something.
Yep.
So I don't know whether one of those was called the Ninja Speed Cycle or not.
I don't remember. I actually have a large amount of that line myself. But I will say that they were cool toys at the time. If they're doing something to recreate that or bring in Kamakura, that'd be kind of cool.
The new movie has motorcycle toys that are coming out.
Yep.
That have like a gimmicky stunt feature. You can like stand a guy on a peg on the bike and he spins around.
Yeah.
I haven't seen them in person, but that's what the idea you get from the pictures.
I mean, yeah, I want to stand on a motorcycle and spin around. That sounds like a good idea, unless you're on Jackass or something.
So far the minifigure goes together pretty easy. Some of the like the Mega Constructs guys are really hard to put together.
Oh, I know.
The joints are really tough. He is very Lego-esque, despite not being exactly Lego. Like his feet have a different shape to them. They have a rounded front instead of the square front.
His elbows are a little more bent.
He's a little tighter in, but he definitely, has that brick toy look to him. And there's a bump on his face, like where his nose would be. I assume that would be a nose on a guy who had an actual face.
Snake Eyes has a nose poking through his visor.
It's kind of like the lips that poked through his mask in Retaliation.
Oh.
Or, no, it was in Rise of Cobra.
That was Rise of Cobra. They got rid of that in Retaliation.
Retaliation.
Retaliation was a superior G.I. Joe live action film. So far, I have hopes for Snake Eyes, the movie.
I have hopes as well.
I have good, I think we're going to be pleasantly surprised. That's my...
Oh, there's a sticker sheet.
No, there isn't.
Look at that.
Well, I'm not going to do stickers today, but I will see if I can attempt to build this
There's
here.
like a big sticker that says like Ninja Cycle Construction Set.
Well, of course, because you got to know exactly what you're
You
doing.
can like slap that on your locker. Sweet. All right, so Mike is working on building our Ninja Speed Cycle.
I'm going to try and do it speedily.
Are you able to talk about our main topic while you do that?
Absolutely.
Okay, so our main topic for today, and Mike has a lot of expertise with this, it's street dates and toys.
Oh, gosh. Yes. So, as I've mentioned before on the show, I've worked at KB Toys, Toys R Us, FAO Schwartz. But we didn't really deal with street dates until I was at FAO Schwartz, which was in 1997 to 1999 or so.
Okay.
And the first time I ever experienced street dates as a toy worker or anything like that was the new Godzilla film at the time with Matthew Broderick. However, back in the day, I wouldn't have been able to put that on the floor until a certain date. I forget what the date was. And we're sitting there in the back room. We've got these new Godzilla toys. The trailers come out, and all you've seen is the foot and everything, and that's it. And I'm like, that's really cool. And we can't open these. We're not supposed to open these until the day of, then we can put them out and everything. Somebody's blade for the boxes all of a sudden accidentally cut one open, and there it comes out, and we're looking at it, and we go, look, Godzilla doesn't look right. He looks like... Well, I can't say what he looks like on this show because it's family friendly. I mean, I know he's supposed to look like an iguana. I totally get that, but it did not look like an iguana when a toy is sticking with his nose at you and going, and just no. So we didn't put it out before, but street dates themselves really just, I'm kind of half and half on those. Are they good or are they bad? In this case, they were good because they kept a bad toy off the shelf.
Well, in that era where the stock boy can't take a picture of it and just send it to everybody.
Exactly.
I think street dates were very effective back then. Nowadays, though, like you were already getting pictures of something off the production line in China.
Right. Exactly.
So how's the street date really protecting the property? You had mentioned to me previously about like working at the toy store during Phantom Menace.
Right.
And this is another one of those things where like I felt like they spoiled the best part of that movie by showing Darth Maul's two blades in the
toy line.
Well, in the trailer.
Yeah.
He lights up both halves. So I could see like hiding the toy because they don't want you to know that he has two blades until you actually see that part. Like if he took the hood down in the trailer and lit up one side of that blade, you'd be like, that's a weird looking lightsaber hand.
Exactly.
But they had already shown it, so like why not put out the toy? I don't think there were too many episode 1 toys that were like shockers.
No. And what was great too was the fact that we had them and we couldn't put them out. Now, one of the famous stories from the FAO Schwartz store in Boston is the fact they had a midnight opening. And that was like the first of its kind really for any kind of toy line. And it was a frantic frenzy and everybody was buying up everything. Even the peg warmer, Rick Ali, or the peg warmer, the soon to be peg warmer, Jar Jar Binks. everybody was buying them up. They were gone. Like everything was gone. And then we saw which ones weren't staying.
Right.
But it was because of the street date, and they actually built up a little bit of a, for Star Wars, you could do it at the time. The buzz. You could build up the buzz for it, and it sold the toys. Right. Nowadays, a street date just means that,
it's been on the peg.
Right.
You've been frustrated because you weren't allowed to buy it, but some other guy on the internet scanned the regular Marvel Legends figure instead of the Shang-Chi one and got it early.
Don't even get me started about that. That's a whole other discussion.
It's very frustrating. I remember when the second Bay Turtles movie came out.
Yes.
I wanted to get the trash truck, the Tortuga Brothers trash truck thing.
Yep.
I was at Toys R Us. It's on the shelf. I take it up to the register. I'm sorry, we can't sell this to you. I'm like,
why?
Why not? Well, it's street dated. I said, okay, is there a way that you can save this for me? And they actually were pretty cool about it, and they did. They put a Post-it note on it. It was in the office. I came back the day the street date.
Right.
I was able to buy it. But it didn't matter because nobody else was, like, dying to buy
Turtles 2. Yeah, anyway. Exactly.
I just wanted to get it because I want to make a video about it. But the street dates are just a pain in the ass anymore.
Yeah.
Like, it becomes this giant frustrating thing for the workers and the consumers because the workers just want to get stuff out of the stockroom.
Right.
We just want to buy the stuff that's on the shelf. And then there's a breakdown there because they're putting stuff on the shelf we're not allowed to buy yet.
Well, how many times do we walk into like a Target or a Walmart or anything like that that has street dated toys? They're putting it on the shelf right then and there in front of you.
Right.
And you're like, okay, I'm going to go buy it. And then you go to try to ring it up. And again, you can't.
Right.
You know, it's right there. Or somebody walks up and says, I need to get that toy. Well, no, we're going to put that back in the back. Well, why did you bring it back on the floor?
Right.
You know, like, no. Sell the toy. Sell it then and there, you know, bite the bullet. I understand now, speaking from experience again from the industry side of it, the toy store itself, Walmart or Target or a bigger store like that, if they sell something before the street date, it can actually get a big ding, a big fine or anything like that. And it can hurt them and say, you know what, we don't want to sell any more toys. So I totally understand it from their point of view. But still, train the workers to do it better somehow.
If it's street dated, it should stay in the back room. I don't care if you're looking at it.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, it'd be nice if you weren't spoiling stuff by sending the pictures out, but whatever. Like people that want to know, they can find those pictures. But it shouldn't be on the shelf. I think that's very frustrating for not just the collectors, but like I can't even imagine if I was a kid and had wanted that turtle van and took it up to the register at Toys R Us and they're like, we can't sell this to you.
That's just...
You know, because when I was a kid, we didn't go to Toys R Us every week like I did as an adult buying those Bay Turtle toys.
Right.
You know, I'd have been like, this is the 2 times a year I come, once before my birthday, once before Christmas, and I can't buy this. Like, I'd been heartbroken.
Yeah, and no. But that said, having a street date, you know, this is crazy. It's not
Are you
Lego.
Frustrated yet?
I'm not frustrated. I just want to be able to super glue it together. And
I want to see what the tolerances are like on these pieces.
They don't feel the same as hard necessarily. So
yeah, all right. I mean, they're snapping together okay for me, but I'm just putting 2 plates together.
Yeah, they've got a weird way to put this piece together. But anyway, yeah. So store street dates, I'm a mixed bag on them. I totally understand it. And again, we got to see Godzilla prior to, but you also have not just street dates for for toys, but games too, like video games, things like that. Back in the day, there was a big thing for that. You couldn't buy a game online or play something early online. You had to go wait in line at like a GameStop or anything like that to get the new Halo 2 coming out. You couldn't just download it in a 5-10 minutes or whatever online.
Right. For games, that's easier now. Like they can work around that because you could just download it. But like with toys, they still have to ship it to you, and everyone lives a different distance from the shipping.
Exactly.
So they can't even just like, okay, we're going to ship everything to Zone 1 today.
Right.
And it'll get there in 3 days, and then we'll ship everything to Zone 2 tomorrow because it'll get there in 2 days. Like, there's no way they can work that out. And
right.
That's the whole problem with the toys. The delivery and the storage and everything else just gets to the store when it gets to the store.
And the other flip side to that, too, is with online ordering and pre-ordering online, you can order something that's street dated a certain date, but online, you know what? They go, we're going to ship this out 3 days prior, and you get it like 3 days prior. Amazon's kind of notorious for that. There's a few other online toy stores that will try to ship so you get it on the day that it's supposed to be released, or maybe a day or two after, and if you can wait, great, but if you can't, well, you know what you can do? Oh, well. But you have a store like Target, Walmart, whatever. There's some toys that are hitting now that don't have street dates until August or September or, December, and toys are already hitting.
Yeah.
Like, how are they able to get that already? And let's not talk about what happens in Singapore. That's a whole other...
So the question becomes, should they just scrap the street date thing and just sell the toy when the toy comes out? Or should we continue to try to make this work and just try to, like, train employees better?
I think that if you have a large property like a Marvel Universe property or something like that, or a Star Wars property, you try and keep the street date because that's a very big, IP. That's a very big property to some people, and they don't want to get the money out there too early. They want it to build, and then boom, they get all their money at one time. If it's a smaller IP or something like Silverhawks or something like He-Man or anything like that, get it out as soon as possible. Why wait? Why street date anything?
They tend to street date things connected to movies.
Right.
I don't feel like things get street dated. Like a He-Man Origins line isn't going to get street dated because it's not connected to anything.
Right.
I could see Revelation being street dated, but it's already out.
Right. Well, you have like the new Transformers '86 movie toy line that's hitting this year.
Right.
And a lot of those are actually street dated on the box, not to come out at a certain time.
Okay.
And they're being put out 2 weeks in advance, 3 weeks in advance, and we run into that issue we're talking about. Yeah. Somebody trying to walk up and check out with it, and it says, no, there's a street date on it. Don't do that. Just let it go.
Like, why would a street date matter on an anniversary toy?
Exactly.
Shouldn't. There's no spoilers. I mean, we've seen the movie. We know Prime dies. Like,
wait, what?
Well, what?
Wait, what'd you say? Prime dies?
Prime buys.
Buys?
Yeah, he buys from Amazon.
Oh. Amazon. Okay. I mean, I've seen the movie over 1,100 times, but still. Okay, he doesn't die.
So anyway, that's a toy line I don't get the street date on. That to me is a toy company making things harder on these stores that already are terrible at following the directions anyway. I get the movie stuff. I do, I guess. Also, maybe the real problem is that a lot of times the movie toy lines, everything's one wave.
Right.
They can't save the thing for a separate wave, and they don't do separate shipper packs. Because to me, a lot of times, too, it'd be neat if they just shipped the secret toy in a separate case.
Yes.
And then that thing was street dated, and the rest of them were on the shelf. Like, you should be able to get everybody that's in the trailer, basically.
Right.
Right away. Like, oh yeah, hey, I saw the trailer. I'm excited. I want to go get all the Power Rangers from Power Rangers. The Power Rangers movie. Okay,
right,
great. I got them. Now the monster who they didn't really they hid in the movie in the trailer. Yeah,
right.
He's the one I couldn't get yet.
But
street dated.
He's street dated, and then he comes out, and boom, there he is.
Right, and that builds the excitement. You got to go back to the store again. And,
exactly.
I get what they're trying to do. It just is very frustrating sometimes.
It's a pain in the what.
I mean, and with toy collecting and stock being as bad as it's been for the past year, the street date just adds to that whole frustration of like, I finally found something and I can't buy it.
Right.
Like, come on.
Well, you bought this and I
bought this and it's some junk.
Yeah, and it's
how's it coming?
That is one heck of a back end on that thing so far.
It sticks out that far. Wow.
Yeah, that's a little weird. I don't know. I'm not sure about that quite yet. Oh, I get to flip the box. Thanks now.
Is it a booklet or a sheet?
It's a single sheet. It's not even a booklet. It's a single sheet.
All right, that's good.
So, I don't know. But yeah, as far as street dates are concerned, I don't know. I like them, but I don't.
It almost ties into spoilers at this point. Like, how long do you have to wait to talk about something that's out?
Right. For me,
like, I get social media. You shouldn't post like the spoiler thing the week it came out. I get that because people are accidentally gonna see it, But eventually, like, do you have to apologize for a spoiler from a movie that's 30 years old?
Yes, you do. No, I'm kidding. No, I mean, does Prime die? No, he just buys. He just buys Prime. Yeah. So no.
I mean, as a kid, famous things were spoiled all the time because of like pop culture. Like,
yes,
I knew the end of Citizen Kane. Somebody showed me Citizen Kane when I was in high school. They're like, you should see this movie. Like, you like movies. This is one of the greatest movies. And there's an Animaniacs song called Video Review where they like go through a video store and like talk about a bunch of movies, and they give away
the ending. So
Kane, right?
Yeah,
and it's like, it didn't ruin the movie for me, but I did know what it was.
Right.
I think it's in some ways more enjoyable not knowing, but it also, because I've seen Citizen Kane like 12 times. It's
a great film.
There's a lot of like stuff you pick up on when you watch it again, where you go, oh, like that guy's making these references that you missed the first time because you're not meant to get it all the first time. And so the toys becomes sort of the same thing. Like, yeah, they give away certain things. There's also a lot of toys that seem to give away things that aren't even in the movie at all. Like,
yes,
people getting excited with Endgame. There were some Lego sets.
Yeah,
and everyone was like, "Oh my god! Like this spoils the ending." And it was like,
no,
that scene isn't even in the movie.
Right.
All the Hulk busting out of the Hulkbuster armor toys.
That was nothing.
It was nothing. It was actually probably something in an early draft of the script that all the toy companies were like, "We got to make a toy of this."
Well, you know what it was? It was them also saying, "You know what? We're going to do this, and it's going to be awesome.
This is super toyetic. Every kid's going to want to play with this."
Exactly.
So there's still street dating stuff. I mean, currently, right?
Yeah, there's you did it in the last few years with like Star Wars Rogue One. You did it with Star Wars: A Solo Story. They were street dated at a certain date to come out, so they didn't technically spoil anything for the movie itself. Other than like
the funny thing is though, like I remember watching a review of the Millennium Falcon toy that like the panels would blow off when it does the Kessel Run. Like I watched a review of that on YouTube before I saw the movie.
Right. And it didn't give away anything.
But also the street date didn't matter. Like,
well, a lot of reviewers too will get the toys prior to from, whoever is making the toy to give, to build suspense or anything.
But it's funny that the toy company would say the consumer can't see this until this date.
Right.
But also, hey, please promote this toy for me before the date. Like it just shows how pointless the street dates are. And
what's really crazy is the fact that we have one great example, G.I. Joe Retaliation. We had that movie, we had that trailer a full year, almost a year and a half before the movie actually hit. The toys were starting to whole first wave hit stores actually.
That was similar to what we're dealing with COVID, except for that was they made a movie and decided, you know what, I bet we can make a bunch of money in the Asian market if we made this 3D.
Yep.
Because the 3D movies were huge.
Exactly.
In Asia and Russia at the time. So they pulled the movie after the toys hit the store.
Right.
Like we were waiting to see the movie and they went back and digitally turned it into a 3D movie.
Right.
Which didn't add anything to that movie,
no.
by the way. Like,
not at all.
There's like blades of grass that are near your face and like the shoulder of a senator that's blocking half of the shot at one point. I'm like,
it's not needed. It wasn't needed. The toys could have still come out.
It.
Yeah. And the toys could have still stayed out. I don't think they needed to even, there were stories of them pulling the toys off the shelves even.
Putting them back in a warehouse. But at that point in time, G.I. Joe was a Toys R Us exclusive. So the first movie with Rise of Cobra, that was at everywhere.
Right.
They like overproduced it. I mean, they had a bunch of Pegwarmers in that line.
Oh, because,
I mean, they made everybody in the movie plus anybody and everybody they could think of that wasn't in the movie. As if they were in the movie. And that was a good line. Like, I enjoyed collecting that line. But, like, Walmart was just stuck.
With all that extra stuff.
Tons and tons of cover girls and whoever else that they just couldn't move. And so I think with Retaliation, it was that, Toys R Us was the only retailer and was like, oh, we're pushing the movie.
Yep.
What do we do? Like, if the stuff sits and doesn't sell, Toys R Us is not going to, it's going to be, they're going to lose that ally.
Exactly. And now you have G.I. Joe Snake Eyes, an origin story. Right. Those toys are just starting to hit.
Yeah, people are starting to get them.
Are they hitting too early? Should the street date have been another week from now because the movie is coming out? Or are they?
I'm not sure whether you want to use the toys to build anticipation for the movie,
right?
Or you want to use the movie to build anticipation for the toys,
right?
Like, is it good to have the kids see the toy and be like, "Oh, what's that about?" Or is it good to have the kids see the movie and then be like, "Oh, we got to go to the store and buy those toys"?
You know what? You go back to the old standby, the original one that kind of did this with no street date whatsoever. Star Wars. You had the movie come out prior to the toys even being made.
But I don't think that was the plan.
No, it wasn't
Lucas
the plan.
wanted toys,
right?
And everyone was like, "This Star Wars thing is not going to do anything,"
right?
And then it came out, and it was like, "Oh, we're behind the 8 ball on this."
Yeah, and they made the toys quickly, and they had the preview pack and everything that got sold, and you bought basically a promise to get toys, and that worked really well. They were like, okay, now we're going to street date everything, and we're going to put things out prior to the movie if we can, just prior to, like Empire Strikes Back. I remember the toys not hitting until a week or two before the movie
Interesting, okay.
I vividly remember that. Same thing with Return of the Jedi.
You had a different theater landscape back then, though, too, because, like, Star Wars was in the movies in and out and back in over and over again to keep kids interested. Kids kept wanting. Now, a movie comes out, it's a flash in a pan. Every movie, it's like the toys hit, the movie hits, and they're both gone.
Right.
Like, you can still see it, but nobody's talking about it anymore because then the next one's coming out. Like, we're getting 2 Marvel movies a year. The kids are on to the next Marvel thing.
2, we're getting 3 this year.
Well, but I mean, the schedule's all screwed up right now.
Right.
But the same thing, like, you had you had G.I. Joe Rise of Cobra.
Yep.
And you had those toys, and that lasted more than a year. They were around for a long time.
Right.
And there was a bunch of different waves. You know, the first ones were very movie centric, and the next ones were like,
right,
maybe he was in the background of the pit. You know, all
Brendan Fraser
they wanted to do. Well, yeah, I mean, he was directly a cameo, but I mean, they made like a shipwreck and a dock and a bunch of characters, Agent Helix, that weren't in the movie, but you could kind of like the Star Wars mini rigs. You'd look at that figure and be like, yeah, he might have been in the background. I don't know. But they just expanded on that roster like crazy. Then Retaliation, we had Wave 1 come out, and they were like the core movie characters.
Right.
You know,
and they were great figures, actually. They were really good for their time. They didn't have enough paint apps, maybe, but...
And then all the vehicle drivers had low articulation, which was kind of lame.
Yeah, Cobra Commander looked good, but didn't move very well. And then, boom, they were gone.
But there was more of those. Like, there was like almost 2 waves of them, too, because when the movie came out, there were a bunch of like multi-packs that came out later. And I don't know if that was all meant to be originally one shipment, or like those multi-packs got saved, or it was just Wave 2 now hit.
Right.
Because the movie should have already been out. I don't know exactly how that worked. But it was kind of neat. I felt like the first wave got me excited to see the movie, and then the second wave, there was something to go look for once the movie came out.
Right. It's just there was such a long wait between the two. And there was a lot of griping in the community about that. Did they do a Street Date with the second wave? I don't think they did. I think they were like, you know what? It's already been out. Just get it out there once.
Just hit when the movie... I mean, it might have been Street Dated. It just wasn't as obvious.
Right. But then you have things like the Transformers toys that are hitting now for the 86 movie.
Right.
And, you know, they're not street dated, or they're street dated to kind of mitigate people buying them all the time or anything. Do you need that, though, for...
Doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah.
I guess they're doing a lot of this stuff with Ghostbusters, too, because the Ghostbusters movie got pushed because of COVID.
Yep.
There was a whole bunch of Ghostbuster lines, and we've seen some of them. The reissue of the old Kenner stuff is out and about. There's sort of movie-accurate figures for collectors. But there was a line that they showed at Toy Fair that was Kenner-inspired, but based on the original movie. So they all have the same colored jumpsuits. Their faces are cartoony, but you can tell which actor it is. It's not like cartoony Egon with the blonde hair. It's like cartoony Harold Ramis. That line, I haven't seen anywhere. So
I'm wondering if that's going to come out close.
That got held for the movie.
Does it have a street date that's going to get people excited? Are we going to hear about it from different conventions over the summer here where they're going to release pictures or whatnot of it? Actually, kind of an odd thing that I know about, the Hallmark ornament last year for Ghostbusters was supposed to be for the new movie. It was going to be Ecto-1 with the little remote control car. They pulled it right before they did their ornament premieres in July and October and everything. And this year it's coming out, but they're going to sell it as part of a convention exclusive where you can get it online, but it's going to be like their San Diego Comic-Con or some one of those conventions that are listing as a pop culture exclusive.
Okay.
But it's re-releasing that same one that was supposed to hit last year, but this year. They pulled it because the movie didn't go out last year.
And that makes sense, I guess. I mean, I don't think getting excited about something early is a bad thing.
Right.
But if you were counting on the buzz right as it comes out, I guess that's the reason to save it.
Right. I think with this one, they're just trying to make sure they don't lose the stock they paid for already, too, and getting their money back. But now they're building a little buzz around it, making it a, quote, street date that you can get online, but it's still a street date necessarily. So it's one of those just unique little weird things.
I don't know how they turn a profit on stuff when they put it back in a warehouse. Like,
you're paying for it, storing it.
You're manufactured, you had it shipped here.
Yep.
You distributed it, and then you're undistributing it to store it. Like...
Unless it's a weird licensing, but with Hasbro, G.I. Joe is its own license. They didn't need to do that.
I get it, that Marvel and Disney are going to say, you must do this, and Hasbro's going to be like, okay, we're going to do it. But yeah, with G.I. Joe, like...
They can do whatever they want with it, which is just...
Although, maybe Toys R Us was the one that said...
That's true.
You're pulling the movie, we're pulling, you know...
Maybe
the movie, we got
that's why Toys R Us went down, unfortunately. They didn't want to sell G.I. Joe on time. Sons of gun.
We figured it out. It wasn't Bain Capital's fault.
No, it was the fact that G.I. Joe Retaliation. That's it. That's we have cracked the code here, ladies and gentlemen.
Out of the band.
Okay. So these are weird instructions. So not gonna lie.
Stumped?
No, not stumped. Just they're weird instructions.
You're getting close.
Yeah, I see what they did. Okay, they want you to do this way. All right. I'm trying to build ahead of what they have here. This is my problem with building a Lego set or a, what's it called again?
These are G.I. Joe construction sets.
G.I. Joe construction sets.
They're made by Forever Clever.
Forever Clever. Okay.
Forever Clever. Their website. It seems to be they mostly sell like party favor stuff.
Okay.
And then G.I. Joe Joy Bricks or whatever they call these things.
G.I. Joe Joy Bricks.
I don't quote me on that. I don't think it's actually Joy Bricks. There was some name. There was some name on the site that was like for the G.I. Joe construction stuff. They had some name, but I forget what it was. It was some sort of bricks.
That's just crazy.
So I don't know. What do you think? Should I keep buying these sets? Do I need to get the whole collection?
I'm gonna say.
What's your opinion on these?
Right now, my opinion is the plastic is not great. They don't fit as well as like a Lego set.
Do you remember when the original Mega Bloks came out?
Yes.
They were like this.
Yes.
Like it was like, oh, that's cool that they did that as a set, but the bricks don't stay together as well as they
Right. That's what this is. This feels like. I don't know if they're going to get any better or not. I'm kind of thinking more like Creo. Creo was actually a decent line.
Creo was pretty good, but Hasbro had already made the really terrible Built to Rule. And then made Creo, and I think they got the tolerances better.
Well, they also tested it first with Battleship toys, which was such a great film. That's
So the toys from this, I was also looking at like all the characters that are in each one of the sets,
right?
And kind of how there's like a set called the Surveillance Patrol, which is like some generic, not actually G.I. Joe thing. Some of the figures is like listed like, so this comes with Snake Eyes, right?
Right.
But the Sky Striker comes with Pilot.
What?
And I'm like, we know his name is Ace. Why would you just put Pilot? And like a Google search would tell you that Ace was the pilot of the Sky Striker. The surveillance set comes with like Duke and Snake Eyes and Captain. I'm like, Captain?
Captain?
And it's just like a generic military guy. Oh, you got it.
There we go.
The scale on this is terrible.
Holy moly, look at this.
Look at how tall that bike is compared to him.
This is like a 2-year-old trying to ride a Harley.
This bike could fit like a 3 3/4 inch G.I. Joe.
Hold on.
Practically.
You know what they don't show? They don't show how he rides.
Someone pointed that out online. There's no place to put the figure. I actually did read that online. Someone was like, there's no spot. Yeah, so the seat area here,
is all flat.
The red is all smooth. It doesn't have brick surfaces.
So
he can stand up by the handlebars.
That are way too big for his arms to hold. You know what I'm going to say? I'm calling it now. This right here, even as a discount toy, is going to be a peg warmer.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes, it is going to be a peg warmer. I think the Tomahawk is a similar. Unfortunately, it may be a peg warmer too. I'm sorry.
And this is all built on top of a bike.
Yeah, the bike is already there.
Regular bike.
Yeah.
That's the right scale for him.
Right.
I don't, yeah.
I don't get it. Yeah, I'm calling it peg warmer.
Excellent design work on this one, guys.
Yeah. Dudes, I try to look for the good in every toy.
It just keeps dropping parts. We gotta like stop touching it.
I'm just gonna there we go.
So if you want to spend $3.99 on a Snake Eyes minifigure, then go buy these.
You've got a great bike.
You're not gonna play with the bike much.
You've got a great bike for Alf.
Yeah, there you go.
Hey, Willie, I'm riding away now. Woo!
All right, guys. Gosh. Thanks for tuning in for this week. Thanks for hanging on the pegs with us, and we'll see you next time.
Rock on. Have a great day. And remember, #JustBroIt. Do a good deed a day.